I know that there's no way out. The fact that we both have a son and I am madly in love with him, I know there's no way to set myself apart from him. We're too well entangled, and being tangled is not a good thing. It will be much more appropriate to be with each other freely, without any conflicts, without any bad reasons. What are you doing here? I asked him coldly. He's waiting outside the restaurant. He eyed me coldly. Do I need to answer that? I gritted my jaw. Go back to your castle. That's what I said before I got into the restaurant again. The next day, the same. This time I saw him waiting outside the restaurant, but he's holding a brown paper bag. I look at him coldly. It's past sleeping hours. I purposely logged off late because I don't want any encounter with him. Why is he still here? I bought you dinner, he uttered and offered the bag. I didn't say anything. I passed by him. Ashina, he called me. Hey, Ash, you want to hop in? My friend and her boyfriend went by. That's the perfect timing. I smiled and accepted their offer. I saw Ace's reflection on the side mirror while he's standing there looking at the car that has left. For sure, this will discourage him, right? I don't want him pursuing me. This must stop. And for sure this will stop, right? The next morning I went to school. I'm really glad you're able to continue, Ashina. One of my instructors told me. I smiled and nodded while holding my paperworks. Only a few more efforts will be made, then I'm graduating. I will no longer work part-time in a restaurant, and I will be able to provide properly for my son. Few more years and he'll be going to preschool. I want myself to be financially capable for him to have a better future. Since I have school in the morning, I go to the restaurant after lunch and have duty until closing time. Ashina, hand this out to table 5. Yeah, I'll take it. I hurriedly fixed myself to serve the food. Steak and wine in the afternoon? I stopped halfway when I saw who's the man seated on table 5, who's looking at me intently. He's in his usual corporate attire and clean look. I pursed my lips and avoided his eyes. I continued walking in his direction to serve his food. You're early, I said to him. He usually comes here at nighttime. He just looked at the food that's being served to him. I can also feel his eyes glancing at me from time to time. Are you fine now? He asked. I held the tray and hugged it. I nodded lightly. Good, he uttered. Did you had your lunch yet? My gaze went to him. No, I haven't, but I didn't say it because I don't see the sense of answering his question. Do you want to perhaps eat with me? He pointed to the seat in front of him. I'm on duty, Pierce, I said. He stared at me for a while before he nodded and focused on his food. You call if you need anything. He nodded and continued eating. That's the only encounter of ours that day. I'm quite glad because I don't want to have any conversation with a wolf today. When it's closing time, I wasn't surprised when I saw Ace waiting outside again. I saw him from the inside, so when I got out, I pretended to not see him. I walked hurriedly, but he was still able to chase me. He called me out and held out my hand when he had the chance. Ashina, I felt his hands gripping my arm. I shrugged his hand harshly. I look at him, and he's looking like a mess. His hair is messy, his clothes are fine, yet something in him looks uneven, like he'd been stressed or strained. What? I asked coldly. Can we talk? We are talking. He clenched his jaw and shut his eyes like he's in pain. About our relationship. Then we have nothing to talk about. I turned my back to him. Ashina, he called. My friend's car passed by again, and of course I accepted their invite again. The same process from the side mirror. I watched him standing there while looking at the car with a hint of disappointment and desperation. Who's that, Ashina? I noticed he's been outside for nights now. Your suitor? The one who sent you flowers? My coworker/friend asked. No. He's just asking something. She nodded, like she had believed my lies. Right, he's undeniably handsome, huh? I got a bit comfortable with her statement. I'm not sure what to say because I'm afraid I might agree, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Beautiful people attracts beautiful men, huh? I smiled raw. That's nonsense. No, really. Remember our regular customer, the one who always orders steak and wine with no pepper? She asked nosily. My eyes went to her. He's always asking to be served by you. Clearly, he's attracted to you. She teased me. I couldn't welcome her jokes. I want to deny what she's pertaining to. That's not true. He just knows me, that's why, I said. Oh, you know him? Maybe he's one of your suitors? No. I laughed raw. That's impossible. He's madly in love with someone else. She pouted and muttered words. Gladly she believed the truth. And Pierce is way more different than Ace. Because Pierce fought against all odds just to make Luna happy. My conscience barked at me all of a sudden. Ace's words played in my head. He's willing to give up his title so we can freely end up together. Isn't that just the same with what Pierce had done? I sighed heavily looking at the castle from afar. My soul is entangled with his world, and it's still complicated. I wonder if stripping off his title will give peace and normal life? Or would that be too selfish for me to just let it happen just like that? Ace is an alpha, and that's how it should be and nothing else. He deserves someone who will fight by his side, who will fight for his pack. Who will die with him protecting that land that Selene, god of the moon, had given them. Not me. Not a mere human like me. I promise Mommy will be home before your birthday. I talked to my son on the call. He's sulking. Our usual conversation would be this. Him begging me to go home, or him asking me when I will be home. A month went by just like that. I can't risk going home, especially that Ace had been tailing me all this time. But Mommy, I'm getting tired of waiting. My heart sank hearing his faint voice. The way he said it seems like he doesn't really want to say those words to me. I let out a big sigh as my tears welled up my eyes. Mommy will never get tired of loving you, baby. It's okay if you do. I'm sorry. Can you forgive Mommy? I said. I just heard his heavy sighs. Mommy will bring you toys. Aren't you excited? I tried to uplift his mood. I just want you home, Mommy, his voice sounding so sad. I smiled sadly. That call made my heart heavy. It made me question my decision. Am I doing the right thing? Am I still doing this for my son? Or just for myself? This specific month has been so crucial for me, especially since my finals are coming and I have to work at the same time. Not being able to see my son is another thing for me to bear. So throughout those days, it seems like I've consciously built a wall around me. I tried to hide my sadness and tiredness through being cold and indifferent, because that's what I thought was the right thing for me to do. That when I focus on my goals, I'll feel contented and peaceful. At least that's what I've thought. My body is specifically weak today. It's been a week of sleepless nights dealing with all the things that's going on with my life. I saw Ace standing on one of the lampposts just in front of the restaurant. I clenched my jaw. Seeing him with those astonishing eyes made my heart flutter. But for some reason, that facade that I'm showing is that I'm angry and annoyed. I don't like seeing him here waiting for me every single day. His lips twisted as I stared at him. I realized that I'm showing different today compared to the past few days, that I'm just completely ignoring him like I don't see anybody. Before he could even get his hopes up, I turned to another direction so I could go home. The next week, the same process for me. My son didn't talk to me because he's grown tired of my promises. At the same time, a customer shouted at me because I accidentally served a wrong order. I cried in front of my professor because I wasn't able to pass my paperwork on time. He embarrassed me in front of the students. I don't intend to cry in small things like that. It's just that situation hit the tip of my exhausted and worn-out self. So that day, when I saw Ace waiting for me on the same spot he's at, all I could feel was frustration and annoyance. I stared at him coldly. The white drops of snow are like another thing that's weighing the end of the day. It's freezing cold. I can feel it down to my bones, but I feel immune. Unlike the man who's standing there, who doesn't even need anything to cover up the coldness of the night. Compared to the nights he's waiting, and those times I will just ignore him. Today, it's different. I wasn't able to move my feet to ignore him and leave him, so he had the chance to walk into my direction. Was it just me, or did he look miserable as well? Or was I just so miserable that I criticized him properly? I saw how his atoms moved when he arrived 2 meters away from me. He licked his lower lip before bowing down for seconds, then back to me again. He walked nearer, and that's the only time I noticed the thick scarf he's holding. Without any reaction, he wrapped it around my neck, and he even adjusted and fixed it according to my comfortability. I didn't move. I let him do what he wanted because I'm too tired to shrug him off anyways. "You look tired this past few weeks, today mostly," his first words. I don't know why it hurt my heart so bad. He let out a heavy sigh, like there's something heavy inside of him as well. "What do you want?" I asked. I know that it's a foolish question to ask, but that question wasn't specifically asking him because I will fulfill whatever he asked me. It's a question telling him to back out from whatever it is that he's doing because clearly he knows that I will never give that to him. "I just hope you're taking care of yourself." My pupils shook when he said that. I remained poker-faced. How? How could he say that after how long I've been ignoring him and all his efforts? It angered me so much for some unknown reason. This is not supposed to be like this. I'm giving him rude treatments, and yet he still had the guts to say those words to me. I'm making all this effort to make his life more easier, yet here he is making my life harder? We stared at each other for no one knows how long before I slowly shook my head. "I will never choose you, Ace," I voiced out. His eyes blinked twice. I saw how pain flashed into his eyes, but the hint of exhaustion and denial covered it immediately. I think I'm becoming numb from all the things that's going on with my life. He nodded lightly, like he had accepted whatever it is that he heard from me before he spoke again. "Screw me, because I never saw any choice at the very beginning. It's you, alone," he smiled painfully. I bit my tongue just so I could focus on that pain and not on my heart that's breaking. He's clearly saying that it's me over the throne. "I'll do anything for us, Ashina. Just give me my chance. Trust me," he said with a half-begging and hopeful voice. "Everything?" I asked. He nodded with the same expression. "Everything that I ask you?" I asked again. "Yes, everything." "Stop this," I blurted out. His expression froze and soon the hope faded in his eyes, and it was left with fear and baffledness. "Stop waiting for me. Stop pursuing me. Stop everything that you are doing to win me because I will never give in." My voice cracked. I couldn't say that I didn't mean those words, because technically that's the reason why I'm this miserable. But clearly, if we're not in the wrong positions, I would never choose to say those words that will surely hurt him. No. Snow went to his hair and long eyelids, the light of the moon reflected into his eyes, and I swear, I saw how his eyes watered, but he bowed and blinked it all away. He groaned silently before his eye went back to me again. He shook his head. "That everything doesn't include what you're asking, Ashina." He smirked without any hint of humor. "That's my only out of your everything," I said mercilessly. I could feel how he's completely shaken by that word. I could feel that he's slowly giving in to the way his eyes looked at me. "Go. Let go and hate me." The muscle on his jaw moved, his bloodshot eyes focused on me. "If I stop," he uttered, "will that bring back the smile on your face?" My breathing hitched. I swallowed the lump on my throat before answering. "Yes." Lie. "Will that make your life easier?" "Of course." That lie slowly buried me deep into the pits of hell. "Would that make you happy?" I clenched my jaw and removed my gaze to him. "Stop asking me questions and just stop, Ace." My defense before I could even show my true feelings. He nodded and shifted to his place. He gulped and looked away. I saw him wipe something on his face, and that's the time when I wiped the single tear that fell on my cheeks as well. I don't want him to see me breaking. "You know one of the reasons why I had it so bad with you?" he asked out of the blue. My brows furrowed. "The innocence and the light that reflects on your eyes, because that's something I longed for. That's something I wasn't able to have and experience in my entire living, but with you I saw how beautiful life could be. You are the light of my darkness, and for a while I felt how to be loved at my darkest." My heart is almost coming out of my chest because of how painful it is while beating so harsh and loud. If this is not pain, I don't know anymore. This might be death, no. Death might be better. This is the end of me. And you know how much it pained me seeing the light fade in your eyes? It pained me thinking that the woman who gave light to my life was only given darkness in return. And that I'm responsible. A tear fell in his eyes. For a while I thought of throwing myself to him. I know that this will be painful, but I didn't expect it to be this much. So if the woman I love is asking me the only thing that she wants, then what else could I do? My body turned numb. I can feel it. This is it. This is the end for us? Ashina, he called me with a monotone voice, tears falling in his eyes. Even if the moon ceases the moment, you'll forever be my Luna, he spoke. I couldn't take the breaking feeling inside me. so what I did was to ignore his words and turn my back at him to leave. I walked like I've lost all the energy of my body. I am numb, so damn numb in pain. While walking away from him, tears started to fall. My face remained the same, while I can still feel his presence on the same spot I left him. Ashina. My step halted when he called me. Silence, that's all that reigned before he spoke. I love you. My lips started to shake, so I touched it with my right hand. Tears happened like a marathon. My shoulders went upside down, so I pulled all the strength left in me to run and turn to the pathway so he would not see me. He is the right person for me. It's just that we are both wrong in time. Maybe in another life, maybe in my far utmost dream, we will be together. Maybe that time I will choose him, or there will be no choices at all. Even if I badly wanted to say to him that I want him too, it's never easy. No one would ever understand that. And that is the last dark winter night that he waited for me. Mommy, I'm so excited. My son exclaimed while I dressed him up. I smiled dearly at him and kissed the crown of his head. But you need to behave while Mommy's away, okay? I narrowed my eyes on him. He smiled sweetly while an amused smile is still plastered on his face. I can't help but to shower him with kisses. It's not always that we see each other, so every moment I'm with him, I cherish it dearly. After I'm done helping him dress himself, I focused on myself and tried to hurriedly fix myself. I wore an office skirt and a simple button-down blouse. I properly tied my hair and put on light makeup so that I will look presentable. It's been a month since I graduated, and now another journey of my life started. I could say that nothing much had changed. Our doorbell rang, and gladly, I'm almost done. I just wore my pair of heels before I got my bag and got out of our room. I saw the lean man seated on the tiny couch of Mom and Dad's house. When his head turned to me, a light smile appeared on his face. I smiled back. Ashil ran to him and they did a high five. I laughed at both of them. Mother appeared out of nowhere, and I saw how her eyes looked at Pierce and back to me. I shook my head because I found her hilarious. Mom, stop it, I said. You know that your son is yearning for a father's love, right? You know that your son might think of something else while he's with that man, she stated with a tone. I pursed my lips. I know that she's a bit aloof when it comes to Pierce. I don't know if he's siding with the father of my son or she's just too concerned and overly protective. Mom, I know, but really, Pierce is a good man and he's just willing to help. I explained. She narrowed her eyes before handing me the tiny bag of my son. I chuckled at her reaction before I embraced her. And let's stop talking about him when he's here, okay? I giggled. She pouted back as a response. I smile while walking on their direction. My son got his bag from me while I can feel Pierce's eyes scanning me. You look nice and prepared, he complimented. I rolled my eyes, jokingly. Yeah, as if I didn't prepare for this my whole life. He chuckled as well. Then we decided to go and get into his car. My son sat in the passenger seat while I'm on the shotgun seat because I didn't want him to think that we're making him our driver. Thank you so much, Pierce. You don't know how much this helps. He volunteered to take ACL to school since no one's available to do that. He said he'll drop me off at the building I'm going to as well. He smiled. This is nothing, and I volunteered, so no worries, as long as ACL is happy to go to his first day of preschool. My son chanted a children's song, and we both laughed. I'm thinking of getting a nanny for him since Mom and Dad are getting a bit old. I don't want to risk their health. I shared my thoughts with him. He nodded. If that's what you think is better to do you want me to look for agencies who have some good background? Oh no, I grunted. Please, Pierce, you've done enough for us already, really. This is my son, for goodness sake. I should be the one doing that. It's just, I'm still not settled for now, so I'm still trying to figure things out. Asif, you're not a family to me, and I'm so fond of Aishi. We're great friends, right, buddy? He turned to my son. My son giggled and continued chanting a song. I can't help but to shake my head while smiling. Pierce had been helping me out unconsciously. I don't know how we got to this point, but maybe besides always seeing each other at the restaurant and school before, we also both have the same inner problems and we are unconsciously understanding each other. And it's a great thing for me to be honest, because I don't know how I will be able to keep it all in myself, especially since it's not just a human we're talking about here. These are extraterrestrial people, like for real. You should be worrying about yourself. It's your job interview, he uttered. I sighed heavily. Now I'm thinking about it again. I don't know if I can get it. This is a big company, but I'll still try, I said. I don't know why you declined my offer to you. We have available slots in our company. Ash. Here we go again, I hummed, and he laughed. I just want to help. That's the point. You've helped us a lot already, okay? Your presence is enough, especially that my son looks entertained when he's with you. I turned to him. His lips protruded like he's trying to hide a ghost of a smile. I hope I'm entertaining you as well, lady, he muttered under his breath. I side-eyed my son, and I looked back at Pierce again. We both know what he's trying to say. I am fully entertained, Pierce. I put emphasis on my words. He laughed, and I just rolled my eyes. This man... Soon we arrived at Aciel's school. I hugged and kissed him goodbye. I'm just so proud of my son. It's like a mirage. The last time I checked, he's still in my arms sleeping, and now look at him. He's all grown up. He waved us goodbye before he enthusiastically went with his preschool teacher. Pierce and I both smiled at him. We went back to his car, and he drove to the building that I'm going to. He opened a topic again. What time will you be home? I'll pick you up. Pierce, I started to complain again. All right, I'll pick Aciel up later, and we'll go to the mall and wait for you there so we can have early dinner together. How about that? I glared at him. Isn't that suggestion way too much than the latter? He glanced at me, and when he saw my reaction, he laughed again. You'll pick my son up, and you'll send him home, and I'll go by myself. How about that? I started mocking him. He grinned. All right, ma'am. We arrived in front of the building. I started to feel nervous just by seeing the tall skyscraper. Thank you, really, Pierce. Just update me later, and please take good care of my son while I'm away, I said while fixing my bag. He got out of the car already, and he opened the car's door for me. I smiled raw at him and patted his shoulders. You don't have to, but thanks, I shrugged. I look up to him, and he has this menacing expression. I'll go now, I said. His lazy eyes just stared at me, and he nodded. I nodded and smiled. I sighed heavily before turning my back at him, just a few steps away when he called me. Ashina, I turned to him again, and I saw that he stepped to meet his space between us. My eyes widened when he leaned and kissed my forehead before placing his hands on my shoulder. You can do it, he smiled. My lips parted. I didn't know how to react, so I just nodded again and turned my back again. Congratulations, Miss Hartz, you are hired. My eyes widened a fraction. The hiring manager's words didn't sink into me yet. When she stood up, offering her hand for a handshake, I stood immediately and shook her hand back. She showered me praises, and all I did was to say how grateful I am. I'm just so relieved that just after a month of graduating, I was able to find a job already. My son would be so happy. I dialed Pierce's number and checked the time, peeking to my wristwatch. He texted me that they came into the mall a while ago, so I'm thinking they are busy playing and stuff. My lips are hanging in my ears because my smile seems to not vanish. Few more rings before he picked up the phone. He answered. Pierce, I'm hired. Can you believe it? This is my dream job, my dream company. It's been a month of preparing for this, and here I am, I exclaimed as soon as I walked out of the lift. That's no surprise. I know it's no biggie for you. I pursed my lips and couldn't contain my happiness. I have work now, like a proper job, not a waitress of anything. Pierce congratulated me and pursued me to come and celebrate with my son. I declined constantly, but Pierce is persistent in nature. All right, wait for us. We'll leave as soon as Aciel is done here, he said. Sure, thank you, Pierce. Always welcome. I dropped the call and I came down to a few steps outside the building. I smiled while looking up at the tall skyscraper. Corporate world, here I am. I sighed due to the relief that I felt. I sat down on one of the stairs and I removed my heels. I bit my lip and massaged my foot. It turned pink due to how tender it felt. But it's fine. I'm in such a good disposition that no pain could ruin my day. Oh, for sure. I heard a woman laughing sensually. I saw her foot pass by me. I just ignored her. I watched her walking down the stairs. I continued massaging my foot to kind of feel a relief. When will you come? I'm already waiting for you. The woman's voice. I stretched my body and rummaged through my bag to fix some things while waiting for Pierce and my son. Yes. Here in front of my aunt's building. I had to talk to my Selena, so I came here. I pursed my lips. I unconsciously eavesdrop because there's not much people outside since it's office hours. But anyways, I wonder how my son will react when I tell him that his mommy has work now. I promise him that we'll soon buy a home for us, so I will not depart from him always. I still have to rent an apartment while he's under my mom and dad's provision since my workplace is far from the countryside. For sure, he'll be happy. Sure, Ace, I'll wait for you here. My ears flapped hearing the familiar name. Damn, familiar is not even a word for me. Of course I know that name. He's none other than the father of my child, for goodness sake. With a stoned expression, I fixed my gaze to the woman who's on the phone. To my horror, I saw the woman's face. Ulva. I gulped the bulging pressure in my throat. Fortunately, she's meters away from me, so she seemed not to notice me, and I don't even know if I will be ready for that. I stood quickly and walked into the direction of the post where I could hide myself but still be able to watch her freely. I peeked through the post and I saw her slender body. Her long hair is tied into a high ponytail while a short and fitted purple dress is hugging her body. My breath hitched when a car stopped in front of her. And just who I expected it to be, I saw Ace come out of the car, wearing his usual clothes while a wayfarer is covering his eyes. My eyes widened just by seeing him. I didn't notice that I was holding my breath as if he'd hear even my breathing. It's been just a couple of months I imagined this day to come. The day of meeting or seeing him, never did I expect it to be this way. I can't help but notice how much has changed in his physical appearance. His body became more lean and bulky. His hair became a bit longer. The sun rays that's kissing his face are making his face even brighter for me to see. Something in him changed. The way he confidently walked around his car to welcome Ulva in open arms. I can't deny, but it broke my heart into pieces. Ulva embraced him. He embraced her back. My lips parted. I gripped the strap of my bag like I'm holding into it for my life. They look intimate. His white teeth showed up while his lips were slightly murmuring, talking to the gorgeous woman in front of him. I didn't even have the time to ask myself why they were here. This is the city, way far to the countryside, where the cast is located. So seeing both of these werewolves here in front of the building where I'm supposed to work is a mental breakdown for me. My breath hitched when I saw his arms encircled around Ulva's waist. He reached for the car's door and made her come inside his car. Ulva seemed so fluttered and happy with his gestures. Are they finally together? Ace probably mated with her already. That's his fate, right? My heart ached so badly. I bit my shaking lips to stop the growing pain inside me. Seeing him do those gestures that he used to do for me is heartbreaking. Damn you, self! I asked for this. I pushed him into his limits and told him to leave me alone. But I didn't say that I loved the idea of that. Because in fact, I'm still here, hurting. Unfortunately, all I could do is to watch them from afar and imagine the times where we both nurture the moments we had together. I loved him still. But some love is not meant to stay. For me, I'm sure of what it is. But what he felt towards me, that's what I'm not sure of. But those images of them happy together clearly tells what kind of love it is. Feelings fade. What I feel for him doesn't. So I don't know what this is anymore. Mommy, Pierce brought me into this huge playground and then he bought me toys. But I told him that you'll get mad, so I said he should just buy me one. My son told me stories about their errands a while ago. I smiled raw and nodded at him. I patted his head and kissed the crown of his head. I saw Pierce's eyes piercing into me, like he's reading my expression and he knows something's up. And Mommy, my teacher told me that we need to draw our family and color it. Will you help me, Mommy? Of course, baby. I will draw Mommy and I, Grandma and Grandpa and Pierce. He smiled. My raw smile faded because fakeness couldn't hide the bitterness that I'm feeling inside of me. Asiel, come on, finish your food. Pierce talked to him. My eyes went to my food and I just played with it. I can feel Pierce's eyes staring at me intently, but nobody dared to talk since we're both in front of my son. So when he took us home, Asiel immediately ran inside the house, looking so excited to tell Mom and Dad about his day. I watch him get inside the house and sigh. Pierce turned to me, and as I expected, he threw me questions, which I knew he'd been dying to ask me. What's wrong? You sound all right when we're on the phone. I sighed heavily and sat at the gutter. I palmed my face, feeling the exhaustion and confusion colliding. Is this about your work? About ACL? Can I help you? I saw him, I uttered, spacing out. Silence reigned at the place. Only the crickets and the wind can be heard. I saw him in front of the building with Ulva. I heard a sigh from him. I breathed out the ball of breath that's been kept inside me. I look at the peaceful sky. The stars that have been splattered are like little dots in my eyes. Did he see you? He asked. I shook my head slowly. I don't think I'm ready for that, and I don't even think it will change anything. I sighed again. I felt him sitting beside me. He did the same, looked up in the sky and watched the stars. You regret leaving him? I thought of that night. I ended things with him. All the harsh words that I said and all the words that he said to me are still well embedded in my soul. No, I whispered. I saw from my peripheral that he turned his head to me. I remained in the same position. Even before I saw him, I didn't regret leaving him. And you know what? Seeing him looking so settled with Ulva a while ago made me even more relieved that doing that would benefit him. Because clearly, that's the purpose of that night we decided to end things between us, I said. He didn't answer. I turned my head to him and I smiled lightly. How about you? When you leave your supposed Luna for her happiness, do you regret it? I asked him. His lips are pressed together. He's seriously looking at me. I waited for him to answer. He shook his head and I nodded. Then we're in the same boat. I guess that's what love can do for us, huh? I smiled bitterly. How sorrowful. Why can't just people that love each other end up together? I asked. 'Cause some love is not meant to be, he answered seriously. So if it's painful, it's not meant to be. He stared at me intently. How am I supposed to know? I am yet to find the one that's meant for me. I chuckled lightly. Right, that makes sense. We fell silent again. After some minutes, he spoke again. But it hurts, doesn't it, to see the one you love in the arms of someone else? I choked on my own words. Pictures of them flashed into my eyes. I couldn't answer Pierce. I just want him to be fine. That's all that matters. I heard him chuckled without a hint of humor. Martris deserves to be crucified, he joked. I smirked. I don't want my sacrifices and pain to go into waste. That's just it. What if he comes back to you? My head turned to him. I looked confused because that thought seems to not reach my capacity of thinking. Right, never did I think about that because I know that will not happen. But what if he told you he still loves you still and he'll do anything to win you back again? I blinked while staring at him. He seemed so serious about this. That'll never happen, Pierce. It may. Why? Did you supposed Luna beg you to come back? He went silent. See? His nose flared. Just answer me. My brows met each other. Why is he pursuing this? I really am not willing to waste my time and think about it, because clearly no one's going to come back and no one's going to win anybody. We're done, and we decide to finish what's between us that night. I told him harsh words that for sure hurted him and his ego. So I guess it would be foolish of him to do the first move to win me again, right? That just doesn't make sense at all, I expressed. He didn't say anything. I look at the moon that's slowly appearing from the clouds that covered it a while ago. It feels like my soul is well entangled into the moon. Every time I look at it, I feel different. It sends thousands of feelings into my soul. Will you be willing to open up your heart to someone else then? My smile disappeared. I heard crickets and my mind went black when I heard him. I looked at him, his eyes fixed in front. What do you mean? I spoke. The muscles on his jaw moved. It took him seconds to finally look at me, and with that, I was taken back a little. I can be the father of your child, Ashina. If only you would accept what I feel for you. I would be willing to give my all. He uttered under his breath. I did not expect to hear those words from him. At first few moments, I just stared at his face, looking so stunned, waiting for him to retract or change what he said, or for him to add, "I'm kidding," at the end, but that didn't come. I winced after a few minutes of staring at him. I immediately avoided looking at him because that was the beginning of my discomfort. I chuckled. Can you hear yourself? I'm serious, Ash. I consider you two and ACL as my family. I quickly turned to him. The thing you are saying is not a joke. Taking on someone who isn't yours is not a game, Pierce. But I love you too. I know, Pierce, but I also know what kind of love you have for us. That's the love I have for you, right? His gaze stopped in my eyes. I tried to convey through my gaze what I wanted to convey. I sighed heavily. I know it's sad to be alone, Pierce. I'm also not prohibiting you from meeting ACL, especially since I see him happy every time he's with you. You can make us a family without owning anyone. His jaw hardened. I felt a slight pinch in my heart. Pierce has been good to me ever since. I consider him a close friend, so I also get hurt every time he feels this. I've had enough share of my guilt from hiding Asiel from his father. If I add to that guilt, I don't think I can forgive myself anymore. I don't know if I can even look my son in the eye if that's what I decide to do, Pierce. I added more. He sighed, playing with the hand as it rests on his bent knees. You can find someone to love, Pierce? Wouldn't that be a better idea? To love and have one's own family because of love. I said to calm him down. I looked at his face with a still hard expression. What's wrong with making you two as my family? I could hear the growl in his voice. I laughed a little. Pierce, we are family, but it's not what you think and want to happen. He wet his lips before looking at me. I smiled and tried to ease his mood. Is my confession getting turned down? He smirked. I hissed and slapped his shoulders. Turned down my ass. I know you're madly in love with your Luna, Pierce. You can't fool me. We both laughed until our laughter gradually disappeared. We looked at the sky again. I'm thankful for everything that you did for us, Pierce. You don't know how much help you have done for me and ACL. I smiled lightly. I'll do anything for both of you. I will protect you and your son at all costs. My smile grew wider. I'll always be here for you too. A few days passed with my son. I did everything I could to make the most of the opportunity the two of us had together. I can't stay here because my job is too far from Mom and Dad's house. So if I earn enough, I will take my son to the city so that we will not be separated again. Our temporary separations became easier for the two of us, as I spent more time explaining it all to him. Fortunately, my son is smart. He knows the hardships we both have, so he is now more accepting of why I have to leave to work. As long as I go home to him at the promised time, we have no problem. Bye, Mommy. Take care. Call me every night. He hugged me. I hand-raked his hair and showered him with kisses. Mommy will call you every day and every night. Be good while Mommy is away. I smiled and he nodded as a response. And that's what happened. Tomorrow is the start of my first day at work, so I prepared myself before tomorrow came. I'll be working as a front office executive. I know it's less compared to the course I took, but it's okay for me to start at the lowest. And I am even more grateful for this compared to being a waitress with a lower salary. The next day, wearing a miniskirt and peach-colored button-down blouse, I faced the mirror. I adjusted the red and navy blue scarf around my neck and gently calmed myself. I skimmed all the positive energy before I left my apartment. It's really fine, Pierce. I could just get a cab, I said on the line. He's apologizing because he said he couldn't take me on my first day at work. He's busy with his job. I really don't understand because he has no obligation to pick me up and drive me every time. I can only laugh at him when he's like this. Good luck on your first day. Call me when something comes up, he said after our conversation. In the office, there was a briefing first. The HR manager also toured me before I finally took my place at the front desk. I trained myself there. Preston and I were both at the front desk, but not all the time we were both on shift, only now because I'm still a trainee. Preston was kind and helped me with a few things I needed to know. Is your hair real? He asked me curiously. I laughed a little because I had already felt his curiosity since a while ago, only now maybe he had the courage to ask. I nodded and smiled as an answer. His mouth turned, maybe in amazement. I'm used to it. My hair color isn't really normal. It even became a wick for my classmates before to bully me, so I'm not surprised anymore. I focused on the computer to look at all the emails that were coming in, all the listed appointments of the clients, and the meetings that also needed to be focused on. I even found out that the lower floors of the building are the hotel rooms. Preston said there is only one hotel owner and the CEO of the company. This is a real estate company, so I wasn't surprised. You need to attend to some calls too. I'll attend to it at the moment since I know you're still innovating simultaneous tasks, said Preston. I listened to a few more, he said. What about those guests who don't have appointments? Do I list them down and make them an appointment right away, or will I need to ask first? I asked. You need to do both, he replied. I nodded. Sometimes there are guests who do not need an appointment because they are relatives or friends of the staff or even the bosses, so you just have to call or make them wait for a while. I nodded as he explained. Maybe I'll just know if it's a relative if the staff or the boss approves. My first days at work were easy. It wasn't that hard to learn right away and adapt to things. The following week, Preston and I were in different shifts. He was in the opening hours while I was in the closing hours. Miss Hartz, lunch? One of the office staff invited me. I think he's going to the cafeteria for lunch. I smiled. I had mine already, Enoch. Thank you. Have a nice meal. It's easy to make friends with people here, which is why other office staff already know me. I smile as I face the computer and check the mail. Excuse me, can you check if Laura is available? I heard a voice. I quickly turned to my left to face the man who spoke, but my expression froze, seeing who that man was. My smile hardened until it disappeared. My heart beat so wildly and fast. He was the last person on the list I'm expecting to see here, so it's a big puzzle to me why he's here. Our eyes locked, and for a while I saw a hint of anger and puzzlement in his eyes, but it immediately faded away. I'm not even sure if I was just hallucinating. The only thing that's left in his eyes is the indifferentness and how he looked at me like he doesn't know me and he doesn't care. The side of his lips lifted and a dark aura reflected in his eyes. Miss? My lips parted and I immediately stood and attended the telephone to call Ms. Laura's secretary. Hi, Callie. Is Ma'am Laura available? There's a man here who's... There's no need for that. I just need to know if she's available. He butt in. For a while I didn't know how to act and what to say. The words the secretary said over the phone did not enter my mind. Who's the man, Ash? I pursed my lips, looking at him straight in the eyes. Ace Cunningham, I uttered. Oh, Sir Ace. Yeah, let him in. Ma'am Laura is waiting for him. I was silent for a moment. Thank you, Callie. I turned down the call. She's waiting for you, sir. He nodded boredly before leaving the front desk like this is just nothing. My heart beat so wildly. Ma'am Laura is waiting for him? Why? I wasn't myself for the rest of the day. Ace spent a few hours there before I saw him pass by the front desk, probably done having some chit-chat with my boss. I tried to look at the emails to check if he had any past appointments with the company, but no result came up. But he looks comfortable here, and people know him, especially Ma'am Laura, not to mention that she's waiting for him. When Ma'am Laura came out, I stared at her intently. Her hair is long and curly. Her body is curvy, and her complexion is smooth, even though her complexion is dark. She's also tall and intimidating. Until I came home, that incident clouded my mind. Is he always there? Does he always visit Ma'am Laura, or is there something else? But I saw him in front of the building with Ulva the other day. What is the connection between these people, and why does it seem like I'm meeting all of them at once? I slammed my body down on my bed and hurt myself intentionally. I just really wanted to knock myself out so I could stop thinking about him. So what if I see him there? So what if he's visiting someone there? Shouldn't I just not care about him anymore, since it's been so long since we both ended the thing between us? I fell silent and stared at the ceiling. The image of his eyes staring at me could not be erased from my mind. Just as I was affected by his stares a while ago, so was his lack of interest in me. I think it's really over for him. Perhaps that night, he really did accept and surrendered everything. It's your fault too, Ashina, I said to myself. The emotions I felt were mixed. Hate, self-pity, pain, and jealousy. I just put my frustration to sleep and forced myself to be normal the next morning. When I went to work, I was more lethargic compared to the days I worked there. I firmly convinced myself that he would never show up again today, but I was wrong with my assumption. As soon as he came out of the elevator, I immediately saw his figure. He's wearing casual clothes, a set of clothes that I don't usually see on his way back. He also looks good, far from the ragged look he had before. His confident eyes bore into me while he's slowly getting near me. I quietly waited for him to arrive at the front desk. He confidently placed his elbows there and smirked at me. I pretended that I was not affected by his presence. I never thought this one could get even more handsome. "Miss Laura?" I asked. He cocked his head on the side. I was quite conscious as he stared at me. "Yes." I looked down before I turned to the telephone to call the secretary. While I'm on the call, he's just standing there watching me with his offending expression. I turned the phone down. "She's waiting for you." He did not answer. I only saw the ghost of smile on his lips before he turned away. I gave him a sharp look. "So this is their time of the day, huh?" He arrived at the same time yesterday and today. I further confirmed that he is not just a client here. What else is his intention, right? Bitterness dripped in me. I don't want to feel like this. I've always been so used to the fact that he only has his attention on me. That's right. Maybe I'm just innovating. Maybe it's because I still have feelings for him. After a while, it will disappear, won't it? When the afternoon came, at the same time as yesterday, I again saw him pass by the front desk. It looks like he's done with his appointment again. I couldn't help but follow him with my gaze. I was a little surprised because as he entered the elevator, his dark eyes were straight at me. I just avoided it and pretended to not care. On the third day, it almost became a punishment to me. I don't know if I should be thankful that he didn't go through the front desk and actually go straight to wherever he was going. I was restless behind the desk and my mind was really busy thinking about what the two of them were possibly doing. I thought that on the third day the punishment was enough, but those encounters of ours were followed by a few more days until weekend arrived. I pretended not to notice Hai as she walked through the front desk on his way to Ma'am Laura's office for sure. I also waited if he'll come out at the same time he always does, but he didn't. I became even more bitter. Is their weekend supposed to be like this? Is it longer? Or maybe it'll take them a night to go home? So when it was closing time, I didn't notice that I was intentionally slowing down my actions. It's been 10 minutes since closing time when I got bored and irritated. Why do I even care? I groaned and hurriedly put my things in the bag so I could go home. I was still struggling with extreme annoyance, almost blowing my nose as I stared down the hallway as the elevator closed. Just fecking live there, the both of you. When the elevator opened on the ground floor, my eyes widened when I saw Pierce standing putside the elevator. He's holding a bouquet of flowers, and there's a crack of a smile on his face. It seems that he's pleased with the reaction I gave him. "What are you doing here?" I asked as I looked around. There aren't too many people because it's closing time. I looked in amazement at the flower he handed me. "What's this for, and why didn't you tell me you're coming?" I was still laughing as I looked at his face in the flower. He smirked and stood there cockily. "Surprised, then?" I pouted and slapped his shoulders. He also laughed in reaction. "I'm trying to pay back for the times I didn't drive you to work," he said. "You don't have to, Pierce," I said. It was like a broken record. "I have to, Ash," he said sarcastically. Yes, I was shaking and about to speak again when the elevator suddenly opened. I forgot that we were in front of the elevator. He lightly touched my waist so that I wouldn't hinder whoever was coming out of the elevator, but we both stopped when we saw who was coming out. I saw how Ace's eyes bore into our faces, then down to Pierce's hand that's on my waist. The muscle of his jaw moved in a harsh way. My eyes glanced at the woman beside her who's looking indifferent, Miss Laura. I could only give her my raw smile. I could feel the tension as they exited the elevator and there was little space for the four of us. Ma'am Laura is talking to Ace, but his attention is on my side. Pierce's stares were also strong. Pierce's grip tightened on me, and there was a shiver going through my chest. What is going on, and why are they looking like they had a lot of history between them? I cleared my throat and faced Pierce so that their staring contest would halt. I could see the two of them moving away, but a harsh and dark stare was left by Ace before Ma'am Laura finally pulled him away. I bit my lip and removed my gaze into them. I don't want to see them both in that situation. "What is that man doing here, Ash?" Pierce asked. I don't know," I said in a low voice as I felt my heart ache. "Do you want to go home?" Pierce asked while driving. "I can just cancel the reservation." I glanced at him. He's talking about the reservation he made at a restaurant. I snapped out of my senses and I shook my head. I know I'm not on my right self, but I don't want to be rude to Pierce. No, I'm fine. You made that reservation already, I answered. We were both silent until we arrived at this fancy restaurant. If this was a normal day, I would have told him little remarks about how fancy this is, but I stayed silent until our first course of dinner arrived. Does he know me? He asked. I slowly shook my head. I don't think so. I think so, he echoed. I lift my gaze to him. I chuckled. You guys have never met. What do you mean? Wolves smells wolves, Ash, especially their enemies, he stated with a tone. I raised a brow. Enemies? He smirked without humor. The way that man looked at me, I bet he'll dream of slitting my throat tonight. My eyes widened. I gasp and look at our surroundings, afraid that people might hear us. Stop, Pierce, I told him. Why? He shrugged. I'm just stating facts. That man ain't over with you, Ash. I pursed my lips. I shook my head and played with the food on my plate using my fork. Did you even see the woman beside her? And not to mention Ulva. I bet he's jumping from one woman to another. I spat with bitterness. You think it's a coincidence that he's accidentally around your workplace? Dream on, he chuckled. I gritted my teeth. I've thought of that, of course, but I don't want to be assuming. And clearly, for me, I want it to be over as much as possible. I don't want anyone to get involved, especially that I've just started my new life. Then, what do you want me to do? If I knew that he'll be around the company, then I wouldn't have worked there. I rolled my eyes. He put down his cutleries before and sipped on his wine. And besides, I bet he'll never dare get involved with me again. We've encountered each other for a week. Nothing happened. He's focused on flirting with my goddamn boss. Oh, jealousy. He smirked. I rolled my eyes again. I sighed heavily. I don't have the guts to deny it. I'm doomed. I know men, Ashina, and I know wolves too, he smirked. I bet you $1,000 the next time you meet, he'll be like a dog waiting to be petted by its owner. I looked at him intently. He has this confident expression and I'm not liking it. What will you do if that happens? His voice turned serious. My shoulders fell. What do you suggest? I don't have history with your man, Ash. Don't ask me. I let out a sigh. A CL is all I could think about now. He nodded when he heard my answer. Your son longs for a father's love for Ace. I knew it because he thought of me as one. My eyes softened and more blocks weighed my heart. I know, my son often hides his real feelings, but I know deep inside him, he wants to meet his father. Aciel is smart. Soon when he grows more, he'll ask questions you'll never be ready to answer. I don't know, Pierce. My eyes were clouded with tears. I palmed my face because of the mixed emotion bottled up inside me. It's frustrating. We're done. I ended our relationship for this reason, Pierce. But I can't help but admit that you're right. I think about it too, every time. But this is just so hard. I don't want to be selfish, but I also want to protect my son. Tears fell on my cheeks. I heard his chair move, and the next thing I know, he's beside me, caressing my shoulder to help me calm down. Of course, it'll all be up to you. I'm not in the position to tell you things because I don't have my own family yet. But just the way I see it, you must choose the things that will make you feel at peace. Peace that brings you joy. Joy that doesn't fade. He said, peace? Joy? My son is all I can think of. When I got home, I'm in so much confusion and despair. As usual, I called my son to ask him about his day. I'm so happy, Mommy, because my friends and I played at the playground after we sang a song. I smiled as he told me the story. His voice calms me down. I listened to him as I stared at the drawing that he gave me before. Mommy, will you be home before our family day? My brows furrowed. Family day? Yes, Mommy. Teacher told us that we need to bring our family and we will play. I pondered more on what he's saying, and seconds after, I realized what he's trying to say. Right, family day. Sure, baby. I'll ask your teacher about it, okay? Okay, Mommy. Would you invite Pierce as well? I stopped. My smile faded. Pierce? Why, baby? Don't you want to bring Grandma and Grandpa with you? I asked, slightly stuttering. It's okay, Mommy, but my friends will bring their mommy and daddy. If we bring Pierce, they would think that I have a daddy. I held my lips to stop my gasp. I swallowed carefully while trying to think of a sensible statement that I should say to my son. Sure, Pierce should be there. But damn it, is it wrong to be guilty while I think about it? My son thinks of Pierce as his father. My son's insecurities about having no father are getting into him and making him come up with those kinds of decisions. And what's the reason for it? Of course, it's because of me. I ask Pierce, okay? If he's not busy with his work. Okay, Mommy, he said with a faint voice. Tears fell in my eyes, but I tried hard to sound vibrant and positive. You should sleep now, baby. You still have school tomorrow. Give the phone to Grandma now. Yes, Mommy, Grandma is still in the bathroom. I nodded. Okay, have a good night, baby. You should rest too, Mommy. You sound so tired. I bit my lip after hearing my son's sweet voice. No, baby. Mommy's fine. Don't worry about me, okay? Mommy just misses you so much. I miss you more, Mommy, he said so sweetly. I shut my eyes while hugging his drawing. I'm sorry, baby. Give your mommy time to think about this. I'll make sure to set things right for you. Good morning, Ashina. Once the office staff greeted me. Good morning. I greeted him back. I changed shifts with Preston. From the closing time schedule, I shifted to the opening time. I think it's much better since Ace often comes in the afternoon. In that way, we won't see each other. We won't have any encounters. The morning shift wasn't so bad. The people that are greeting me delightfully are a good vibe to start my day. And that good day went on for the whole day, really, especially since I didn't see Ace's face until my shift was done. On the same day, the same thing happened. No hint of Ace in any place. It seems like my decision is effective, huh? I also noticed how peaceful my day was when we were not encountering each other. I don't have to think about what they were doing in Laura's office, and of course I have less stress. There was still no Ace on the third day. Goodbye, Preston. Have a good day. I bid my goodbye to him. You as well, Ashina. I smiled while walking out of the lobby. I smiled when I stepped outside and was about to breathe the fresh air when I heard someone talking. Someone's in a good mood, huh? I jumped in shock. My eyes widened when I saw Ace leaning against the tree just in front of the building. I immediately composed myself and pretended that I was not affected by his presence. But inside me, there is a chaotic conversation between my ego and my conscience. Why is he here? Why is he talking to me? Why did he decide to talk to me? My answer to all of that was to roll my eyes and continue walking. But that is a wrong move. He walked near me and blocked my way. Uh-oh. Get out of my way, I uttered coldly. He smirked and blocked my step. I glared at him. He seemed to like my reaction. What's the matter with this brute? You purposely changed your shift so you wouldn't see me, huh? He boasted. It's obvious, seeing your reaction when you see me. I don't have time for you, I said and took a step again, but he blocked me again. He even pointed at my chest like he was pushing me slightly. My brows furrowed and I glared at him, now more sincere. What the hell? You're avoiding me? He asked, cocking his head. I gritted my jaw. So what if I'm avoiding you? I leveled his stare at me. He coughed a chuckle. Come on, you haven't moved on? Why are you so bitter? My nose flared up because of annoyance. You conceited jerk! Avoiding you doesn't mean I'm not yet over with my feelings. I just don't want to have any encounters with you. Isn't that enough reason to avoid you? His jaw moved. I hate that he's just standing there cocking while I look like an angry tomato. And why do you even bother to talk to me? So what if I'm avoiding you? You could have just backed off and gone inside Laura's office and done your little session. I spat with a bitter tone. His expression went dark. Where's your boyfriend? My eyes got confused. What? You do have a thing with wolves, huh? What the feck are you saying? I just couldn't understand what he was saying. All I could think of was his image of Laura sitting on his legs. Was that man the reason why you left me, Ashina? Is he better? What? Tell me. He grabbed my arm and my eyes widened in shock. I shrugged his hand harshly and gladly he let go. Don't you dare touch me. I pointed at his face. His jaw moved here and there. You don't have a say in who I want to date, Ace. Why don't you just mind your own damn business and continue banging my boss in her office? I said with gritted teeth while pointing at his face. His expression became defensive and confused. He even laughed without humor before speaking again. You have a wild imagination, don't you? I raised an eyebrow. What else could you do in her office every day, Ace? Prayer meeting? Bible study? Don't make me laugh, Ace, I said, and got away. I even bumped my shoulder into his to make a statement. Are you jealous, Miss Hartz? I heard him laugh sensually, kind of teasing me. I ignored him and continued walking. I waited on the sidewalk to get a cab. And damn it, where are the cabs when you need them? Especially when your ex is trying to get into your nerves. Why are you getting a cab? Your boyfriend will not pick you up. I ignored him still. I continued waving my hand at every car that was passing by me, even private vehicles. Damn it, I'm so out of my senses. Should I give you a ride instead, or will he get jealous and mad? I noticed how he put emphasis on the word jealous. I gritted my teeth so badly because I didn't want to punch someone's face right now. Come, Ashina, I'm going to get my car and... My phone rang. I saw the name on the phone and saw that it was my mother's. My eyes widened a bit. I glanced at Ace first before I answered the phone. Hello, me. I cursed inside my head. I stepped back a few steps away from Ace, who was looking at me with a grim face. Yes, baby, I stuttered. I licked my lips and glanced at Ace again. His expression is a dark nimbus cloud now. Mommy, are you home? Yes, I'm on my way home. Why, baby? I tried to tone down my voice. Nothing, Mommy. Grandma left her phone and I decided to call you, he giggled. I chuckled because of how cute he is, and then I had a glance at Ace again, and that's when I realized I wasn't alone. I'll talk to you later. I'll be home soon, I said and turned off the call immediately, even though I know my son will rant about why I didn't say I love you to him. When I ended the call, Ace spoke bitterly. Baby, huh? That wolf doesn't look like an infant at all. I avoided his gaze. I felt relief inside my head. He thinks it's Pierce. One thing I'm thankful for is that Ace didn't ask me any questions. He just assumed that it's Pierce that I'm talking to. It's better for him to think that way than to know that he has a son. It's not yet the right time. I know that I already had plans, but now that I saw him with a bunch of women around him, I had to halt it all. I wasn't expecting another interaction with him, but the next morning, to my surprise, he came up at the front desk with a mischievous smile on his face. Miss Laura is out, I immediately stated, because I know that's his reason for visiting again is Miss Laura. I know, he said with a smirk on his face. Then why are you here? His arms are placed above the front desk. I'm becoming uncomfortable with the way he's looking at me. I hate that he looks so playful and bad right now. I'm thinking of the answer as well. His answer to my question. I clenched my teeth. Did you go home to your baby safe yesterday? I just stared at him. He pursed his lips and cocked his head to the side, teasing me. Fuck off, Ace. He shook his head. Oh no, Ashina. Not when I'm seeing a hint of your feelings towards me. Not right now. My eyes widened a bit. Fool! Of course I have feelings for you. It's been what? A couple of months? Unlike you, monster, who already had a plethora of females. Damn, I don't want to lose my job just because my boss got jealous of me. Leave me alone, Ace. I'm all good without you. I was about to leave my place when he grabbed my arm to stop me. What did you say? He asked, almost in a whisper. You're what? You're good without me? He sounded in a rage, but all bottled up. My lips quivered. I don't know what the right words are to say. Well, fuck my life, Ashina. I wouldn't call it a life without you. I walked out and came to the pantry. I held my chest because of the loud heartbeat of mine. It was so loud that I thought it would come out of my chest. I calmed myself down before I came back. When I came back, no hint of Ace was around. I'm glad he has the guts to read the room. I don't want to lose my job shooing a wolf here. Lunch came, and somebody dropped food for me. It's from Pierce. I messaged him my gratitude. I went to the cafeteria to eat the food Pierce had given me. When I was just about to start, I saw Ace standing from afar while holding a brown paper bag. My eyes widened a little. I thought he's gone. Why is he still here? He walked in my direction with a grim expression. He dragged the food in front of me and replaced it with the bag that he was holding. He then pulled a chair in front of me and sat there. My brows met. I pushed his paper bag lightly and dragged the food from Pierce again. I opened the lid of the container, but before I could start eating it, he snatched it and to my surprise, he stood and threw it at the trash can. Hey, I shouted. He came back, dusting off his palm. What the hell is wrong with you? I asked angrily when he sat down again. Eat the food that I brought you, he uttered casually. I gritted my teeth. I felt the anger crawling from my back up to my head. I stood harshly and shoved his paper bag. Eat your damn food, I said as I walked away. Damn him, How could he just throw a meal away when someone else is starving? I hate him. I don't know what's gotten into his head, Pierce. I ended my sentiments and played with the food in front of me. He invited me for dinner again. Pierce listened to my story. His expression didn't change. I said, "I'm sorry." "For what?" he asked. "For the food? Such a waste." A grin pursed in his lips. "Well, at least now he can't throw that food." I chuckled lightly and continued eating. "And you don't have to feel sorry. I feel lucky that you're eating here with me." I smiled at him. "Did you walk out because you don't want to eat with him?" he asked after a few minutes. I lifted my gaze to him. I shook my head lightly. "I walked out because of his attitude. I can't handle him." "So if he didn't throw my food away, you'll let him eat with you?" I stopped and stared at him. "I don't get the point of this conversation, Pierce. I just want to know." I pursed my lips. "If I hadn't moved on?" I asked. I saw his expression change. He's surprised at how blunt I am. "Yes, Pierce, if that's your point," I said with a monotone voice. He smirked and drank his wine. "Then what about his women?" I avoided his gaze, slightly struck with that question. I didn't say that I wanted to get back with him. Haven't moved on doesn't mean I want to tie a knot with him, Pierce. I shrugged. Our table went silent. I spoke. "Please do me a favor." He stared at me seriously. "If the time comes that Ace gets in the way of my son and me, please don't interfere." "What made you think that I would?" I sighed. "Just because I know how much we mean to you. I have a promise to fulfill as well, Ashina." My brows furrowed. "I could do that, of course. But have you forgotten what I told you before?" "What?" "You won't like what I'll do to you if I see you crying again." I turned silent. It's a battle of staring all of a sudden. We could only hear the sound of utensils other people were making. "You don't have to fulfill that promise, Pierce. I could stand on my own. If it's my son we're talking about, then I guess it's a different matter. But for me, I have a life of my own, Pierce. I hope you understand that," I said seriously. He didn't say anything. He just smirked and sipped on his wine again.